are the
Font.
Now you may remember that we were going to do something fun and light this week. But well, I changed my mind. And that's because Kit from Kit's World and I had another one of our chats. Now, I really wanted to delve into what I think isn't really spoken about at all, and that is the mental health issues amongst our book community. Because my suspicion is that there is a fair amount of mental struggle that goes on quietly amongst the members of our book community. Kit and I are going to take this conversation nice and easy, but we are going to talk freely about our own experiences that include depression and autism. Now, if you feel that that is too much for you, don't feel like you have to watch. I especially wanted to talk about these issues to get some air and light into them, because I think that the difference between treating a mental disorder as a sickness, like any other sickness, or considering a mental health disorder as something to be ashamed about, is secrecy. So our real purpose is to bring these issues to the surface and essentially take away the stigma to some degree. The other thing I wanted to say is that while Kit is very open and happy to talk about his condition, I have never talked about my depression openly, and so I'm already feeling quite scared about the interview. I really do hope that you will bear with me. I just hope that you can take the time to watch it and that it is of some value to the book community. Thank you so much for watching.
Should I now? We're now recording. We're now on the record, madam. So, should I now share with the world what I just told you in private, or is that oversharing?
Well, I mean, okay. Just say you've got a bit of a queasy tummy.
I've got a bit of a queasy tummy. This is scary. This is scary.
Queasy tummy.
I'm very
You're
uncomfortable.
Queasy, I'm sweaty, and I
I'm
have
sweaty,
dread.
clammy. Yeah. Well, I just
Clammy.
yeah.
Oh, my phone is a mess.
I just stroked Frodo,
Lighting.
and half her fur came off on my hand. That's how clammy I am.
Okay, so we should really start talking about Madam Lash is in the house.
Yes.
With some questions, because we're avoiding these questions. I know we are.
Can we talk about what was on TV last night instead?
No, you can't. Madam Lash says
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Question 1. Describe your mental health issues to the rest of Booktube.
I have bipolar disorder, which is inherited. There's a long line of bipolar disorder running in both sides of my family, and yet it wasn't spotted when I was
Can
a
I
kid.
ask what does bipolar look like? Because that, to me, that's just a word. What does it look like? What does it feel like in the everyday?
It was originally known as manic depression, and they changed it to bipolar because it was more politically correct, I think, because the
But what
manic
does it
thing
feel
sounds
like?
like maniac. It's very difficult to describe. It's a mood disorder, and fundamentally it means that you have extremes of mood. Where a normal person would feel happy, you feel elated and ecstatic and all of that stuff,
Sure,
manically happy. And
sure,
where a
sure.
normal person might feel a little bit down in the dumps, a little bit sad, you feel suicidally depressed, literally suicidally depressed. And
Yes.
everything is extremes. There is never a comfortable, happy balance. You're all one way or all the other way. And it's very scary and extremely alarming for the people around you.
When we see you on just in various places, you often talk about your autism. It's not so much that you talk about your bipolar condition, but your autism comes up quite often. What do you think is more of a struggle for you?
Um, that's a really difficult question to answer. Okay, here's where it is. This is quite going to be quite exposing for me, and I want you to know how uncomfortable I am divulging this. But I tend to hide the bipolar away.
I'm not going to tell anyone, just you and me.
And the internet.
Maybe if you.
Yeah. I tend to hide the bipolar stuff away because
Yeah.
the bipolar stuff is less cute. It's not attractive.
Yes.
Whereas
Okay.
the autistic
Okay.
stuff, people understand a lot more about autism than they used to.
Yes.
And
Yes, it's
that
sort of actually, and I hate to use the word, but it is kind of adorable when, and it's a terrible word to use, but I know people with autism very, very well, and it's just quite hilarious how a conversation that you think that we are on the same page, two different pages, two different countries, two different continents, because like just a simple metaphor will separate.
over the course of my lifetime, I have learned various ways to mask my symptoms and to seem as normal as I possibly can, at least for a limited period, and then the mask slips.
Well,
But
you do a
most,
great, you do
so
a great job.
all the time, I feel like an alien that
Yeah,
is mixing with human beings and trying to pass as a human
yeah,
being. But
you've said
actually,
that a
I'm an
number of
alien.
times.
I'm from a different planet. And I will always be, you can't change the fact that you were born on a different planet. It's just where you come from. But you can
Yeah,
try and integrate with human beings
yeah,
until the mask slips. But the humor thing and the metaphors thing
yep,
is something that I've struggled with. And I've had to learn over the years to do lots of very quick analytics in my brain
sure.
to discern whether someone is actually being
Yeah,
literal
and
or
I
whether
and
they're
I
being
because I know you
metaphorical.
quite well now, and that just goes on all the time. I go, kid, you're fine. No, that's fine, pal.
I
It's all good, mate.
I
All good.
I have a thing
It,
called hypervigilance, and a
oh,
lot
I
of
know.
people have that. But my particular version of it is watching for micro expressions on
Mm,
people's faces because I'm trying to pick up on their thoughts before they express them to give me just that little few extra seconds
yeah,
to to understand it so that I don't seem stupid because I'm in constant fear of being humiliated and embarrassed by
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. It does actually. Now, because we do have a number of questions to
Yes.
get through,
I
and
feel like we haven't even scraped the surface of that last
no,
one. And we
no, I
haven't
know.
talked about you either. And don't think
No,
it
I
hasn't
know.
gone unnoticed that you've
Yeah, all
avoided
right.
discussing your own stuff.
No, I know. And this is the hardest question for me because unlike you, I don't even I don't talk about nothing, nothing. So nobody knows, but my own experience with depression took very long time. So I don't know whether I was born with it, but from as long as I can remember, very deep sadness, which spiraled into two bouts of clinical depression that lasted years. So I was 2008 was when I became clean of what I would call clinical depression, and it is the shithole that you describe. Depression, people talk about it as a word. And I was just reading symptoms before I got one for you, and they say like, oh, some people have suicidal ideation. No, it is an obsessive, compulsive, never-ending, day after day wish that you were eliminated, gone, because you have no worth, no hope. Along with that, I have, and this continues, very low chronic fatigue. I take care of that every day. Every day I practice meditation, 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. It is just what I do. And you don't know how much therapy and how many books and how much information that I've delved into to understand and to be able to stop myself going back to uh, just the worst kind of existence. I mean, it destroys family. I was unable to parent. I was unable to work properly. I was unable to function at all. And I did. I was hospitalized. It was that bad. But then, I I just one time decided, you know what? It got to a point where um, I decided that I would change, and then 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 it started the quite difficult pathway of finding therapies that work and really changing my attitudes and just ugh, getting better. Depression is a living hell. It is a living hell that spirals down, down, down. And you come to a point where you can't see any light, you can't see any hope of digging yourself out, and it's just no purpose, no hope, just sinking down, down, down.
Yeah, it's the abyss. It's a
It is
never-ending abyss.
abyss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question 2, Kit, is it safe for mentally vulnerable people to do booktube? And I'm just going to preempt that, saying that booktube is about as exposed as you can get, and it involves a lot of ego, a lot of those internal pictures of ourselves rattle. So what do you think?
No, of course it's not safe, but it's not safe to get in a New York taxi either. It doesn't mean you
Yeah.
shouldn't do it, just take some mace. Bungee jumping isn't safe, skydiving isn't safe. These are fun things that people should be able to do because it's fun, just
Yeah.
knowing that you're potentially putting yourself at risk, and take every reasonable precaution to not get damaged by it. Yeah.
That's really interesting, because people who do you view people who are mentally vulnerable as people that have the wherewithal to make discerning decisions like what you just said, darling?
I can only speak for myself. I consider
Yes,
myself extremely mentally vulnerable and emotionally
yes,
vulnerable. I've got very thin skin, and it's
yes,
extremely easy to upset me and hurt me. And when I get
yeah,
upset and hurt, unlike a quote unquote normal person, those feelings for me are extreme. So I'm at huge risk all the time that I'm on BookTube,
yes.
but I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't stop doing BookTube just because of all that scary stuff, and because I'm at risk in a way by doing it, because the benefits are so much greater. What's your answer to that question, by the way?
Oh, I've almost forgotten the question, darling. I have to look at my
Is it
notes.
safe? Is it
Is it
safe?
safe? No, no. But then nothing is safe for someone who's mentally vulnerable. You're quite right. Every day is, an adventure of, can I get through it? Right. So should that mean that people aren't allowed to do booktube? Of course not. This is a good question.
Of
Madam
course it
Lash
is. You
asked
thought of it.
Kit. I know, I know. Do you think that booktube attracts people with mental issues?
Yes. Oh, yes, 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 definitely. Yes, yes.
I'm exactly the same. Yes, yes, yes. Tell me why. Tell me why you
Okay,
think that so
here's what I've
emphatically.
noticed. Here's what I've noticed. YouTube as a whole attracts people who want to be crazy to get clicks.
Sure,
BookTube attracts people who are crazy, who want to find some form of sanity.
sure.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard, I'm not very good with people, that's why I joined the newbies? I have, I find trouble connecting with people. I don't know anyone else that reads. Isolation, 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 and
It's
lots of
all over
cats.
BookTube, and lots of cats. Yes.
Lots of cats.
I didn't know BookTube existed for the longest time. I used to watch YouTube, and I watched all the
Same.
parkour videos, and I watched
Yeah.
gaming videos.
I thought you were joking about that parkour, actually.
Oh no, it's real. Well, you've
Oh,
seen
that's
a bit of the footage in the gym.
that's interesting.
I've got hundreds of hours of me learning parkour. That's a video
That
for
is
another time.
that is a video.
You
That is a whole.
you want to see this
That is.
jumping from rooftop to rooftop in my
All
Spider-Man
right.
suit.
Perhaps we're not ready for that today. We'll save that, Gem. See, I've forgotten the question again. What were we talking about? Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Yeah.
cats.
Well, yes. So YouTube is full of all this fun stuff that I've been watching for
Sure.
years,
Yeah.
and I never watched a single YouTube video where I thought, even for a second, oh, that person's got some mental health issues. I saw people trying to be crazy for entertainment purposes, but I never actually thought, that person's got some serious issues going on. Since
Yes.
discovering BookTube and watching all of my friends on BookTube, I can't think of a single person that I don't think, there's something going on there under the surface. Do you know what I
Just
mean?
quietly, I agree. Just quite. I mean, there are a few that are pretty solid, but many, many I do, because we know the signs. We know. We know. We don't have to have a
Well,
diagnosis.
I can spot another
We can
aspie a
feel it in
mile
our
off.
waters.
Yes.
Well, I've got waters. I don't know what men have, but I've got them.
Okay then.
Has Booktube made your condition better, worse, or made no difference?
Both in very big ways.
I can agree.
Okay, here's how it's made it better. I have found a whole new tribe who I genuinely love. I love, love, love my fellow booktubers. The community has been so welcoming, so warm, so completely
Amazing.
embracing, and I
Amazing.
feel
Yes.
safe. And these are people that I feel that I can connect with and that I'm interested in and that I feel are interested in me. So I've got
Yeah.
all of this stuff that is a benefit, but the flip side to that coin is that I've got so much to lose suddenly. I've gone from nothing
Yes.
to having loads of stuff to
Yes.
lose, and that has made me incredibly paranoid and very, very
Yes.
anxious. I'm in constant fear of upsetting or offending people. And this has
Yes.
nothing to do with losing subscribers or any of that stuff. That's other issues.
Yeah.
This is to do with
Yes. Yes.
real human connection. I've met
Yeah.
people that I really want to keep in my life and I don't want to
Yes.
lose them.
Yeah.
And so it's created a lot of additional anxiety. But through having those people, that alleviates the anxiety. So it's backwards and
Exactly so.
forwards.
Mm.
And that is my life at the moment. That's what I'm currently experiencing. And that's why my cycling has suddenly started going up and
Sure.
down.
Sure, because it's serious business. From my own point of view, because I'm continually working on my own, let's call it what it is, shit. Um, I'm constantly just in a comfortable way pushing myself to that next comfortable level. But Booktube has seriously rattled my cage. I couldn't sleep. Um, what else happened? Oh, this real chronic, lethargy, this low energy. But luckily I've got things that I do. I've got practices that I keep to keep my equilibrium. But it was hard. Yeah. So I'd say that, yeah, in some ways it's worse, but in on the whole it's better because I feel that I've pushed myself bit by bit by bit into a bigger space. And whereas, I look like someone that was waiting to be shot when I first started videoing, and just terror, la la la. Oh my God, I am terrified. Not so much anymore. I think that to end our discussion on a positive note, do you have any tips, Kit, for people on BookTube that are just mentally vulnerable to help them
Be,
get through?
be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't torture yourself. Remember that a lot of that shit is just in your head. And also make friends with people and be open and honest with them and share your shit with them because they'll have shit that they'll share with you and you'll realize that you're
Yeah.
not alone.
And I'm gonna give you like not a segue, or I don't know. I'm going to give you Zol a tip on how to do that, because just remember that booktube is not a therapy session. It's not designed for that, and it really shouldn't be that. But the way that Kit and I found each other, and let me tell you, we support each other so very much, is that we just entered some comments. Right, it starts with a comment. It starts with comments, and then that's how you connect, because we all know that a comment is on the surface one thing, but it means something more. It can be an offer of support. It can signify empathy. It can just be friendly, and it can be a friendly person that you often comment. There was another thing that I was going to suggest. Uh, to not push yourself so uncomfortably far ahead of where you're at. It's a matter of um, thinking about feeling how far can I go? Well, perhaps I can do one thing a week, right? One thing a week, and then perhaps I can do maybe a new idea, but not you don't conquer the world. You start off small. And another thing that I wanted to say was it's okay to make a bunch of shitty ones that nobody's going to really watch, and just to get over that fear of seeing yourself. You have no idea, Kit, seeing yourself in the world of therapy is extraordinary. And if we can just get through those first episodes that are so uncomfortable, frightening, then we just start to occupy a space of confidence and we start to connect with others. And that's just the best therapy that there is, I think.
You should be on American TV.
I should be on Booktube, pal.
Do you know what? There's a bird on BookTube that's very similar to you. Barb from the font.
Really?
Yeah, she's
Gee
great. You
whiz.
should check her out. She's good.
I have to check her out for sure. Kit, thank you so much for joining me today
You're very
to
welcome.
discuss what is quite hard. And I know that you sweated in your palms a little bit, but I really feel that it's of benefit to start to get some air and light around these issues because there are people that are afraid to even acknowledge that they might have problems or afraid to reach out or don't know how. And
Well,
perhaps we've
I
given some
feel that
insights.
my channel only started to get good when it started to get real. When I stopped trying to hide all of my stuff and I opened up about it and just told everyone, this is me, these are my various conditions, and then got on with it. And suddenly I was liberated. I felt free. I could be myself. I could converse with the camera as if it was a person because I
Yes.
was no longer trying to hide from this spying eye. It was now a friend. And BookTube feels like my friend, and I'm just having a nice chat about books with my friend.
Kit, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. And see you all later.